fix Social Security, and they did for a period of time. We don't have that bipartisanship anymore. What we have to do and what we must do is have Republican and Democrats sit down together and face this issue of Social Security and Medicare, and do it in a way that is bipartisan. There's no reason why it should be a partisan issue. I watched my friend Lindsey Graham sit down with Democrat after Democrat a couple of years ago and try to get at least negotiations started. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. So when I'm inaugurated, sir, as President of the United States, the first thing I'm going to say is I reach my hand out across the aisle to the Democrats. I've worked with Democrats on many issues. Joe Lieberman on the 9/11 Commission, Ted Kennedy on immigration, Russ Feingold on campaign finance reform, a broad variety of issues. By the way, poor Russ Feingold. Many people in Wisconsin think his first name is McCain. But the fact is, we've got to reach across the aisle. And I'll tell the American people I'll reach across the aisle with Democrats, but I'll also tell the American people to tell the Democrats to reach their hand across the aisle to me. And let's get things done for America. Do you think that we are held in such low esteem? Well, one of the major reasons is that people don't think we're doing their priorities, that we're doing ours. We can fix Social Security, sir. We can fix Medicare. But we've also got to eliminate and do away with this wasteful spending first, so we go to the American people with clean hands. I hope that responds. Yes, ma'am. Right? I think we got that. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. We'll go right back to you.
I just have a question as far as the war in Iraq again. I know that's the main thing that everybody's asking about here. What do you hope to accomplish by, I guess, staying there? What is your plan that way? Because you hear a lot of, I guess, scare tactics that, they're going to follow us home. Well, the type of people that they are, they'll follow us home whenever. Even if we accomplish it and, are successful, they're still going to follow us home. So what do you hope to do by staying here?
Thank you. And again, I understand the concern that people have and that you've just expressed, and I respect that enormously. There's nothing more tragic than some of the things that have transpired because of our failure and terrible mismanagement of the war. I believe that if you can achieve a level of security so that the Iraqi military can take over our responsibilities, our people can withdraw, the Iraqi government function effectively and in an inclusive fashion and not a sectarian fashion. The Iraqi government has not been functioning in a way that we want them to. They've got to. They've got to pass certain laws on oil revenue, on de-Baathification, and they've got to have elections in these areas that the Sunnis boycotted in the past. I believe that if we can succeed in Iraq, you will see other nations in the region that are friends of ours, such as Egypt, Jordan, and others who will help us then with the rebuilding of Iraq. Remember that Iraq is sitting on a huge pool of oil, so it's not as if it's going to be a permanent kind of foreign aid situation. In fact, they should be paying us back over time when you look at how much oil revenues they have. Success breeds success. Failure breeds failure. It's not an accident that the Iranians are more aggressive in the region than they were before. It's not an accident the Iranians encouraged Hezbollah to attack Israel recently from Lebanon. And we have got to have a success so that we can show people that the forces of freedom and democracy can prevail there as it can prevail in other countries in the region. That's what I hope to accomplish. And frankly, I think it's going to be, I understand that the patience of the American people is running very thin. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And then can we go back in that area so we can spread it around? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Joni Carroll, and I work with the administration of pension plans here, but my question actually pertains to healthcare. I'll try to direct it because I realize that's a pretty broad topic. If the answer is to access of healthcare is in fact making sure that everybody has healthcare insurance, what kind of ideas do you have to address the uninsured population of a state like Iowa, where it's relatively low, and maybe a state like California, where it's a higher population of uninsured and different kinds of people that don't have insurance there?
I agree with you that it varies in different parts of the country, but I think there's certain fundamentals, and I think you know better than I do that inflation is the biggest aspect that we have to get under control. We can have the best healthcare system in the world, and we do. Let's never forget that. best healthcare system in the world is in the United States of America. That's why when you hear one of these very rich people or potentates or somebody who gets sick, they come to the United States of America. But it's not available and it's not affordable. So what are you going to do? Are we going to adopt a single-payer system, a government-run system, such as they have in England or in Canada or one of these countries? I don't think so, because then you end up with two tiers of health care. I think there's a series of steps we need to take. Among them are, when someone loses their job and they keep, as you know, their health insurance policy is portable, but they can't afford it. Let's make available to them a health insurance policy that they can keep, perhaps one with higher copays. Why don't we allow insurance companies to encourage wellness? You know that, again, I don't mean to insult your intelligence. You know that 75% of the healthcare costs in America go to people with these congenital diseases such as diabetes, heart problem, and such as that. Why don't we allow insurance companies to give lower premiums to people who join health clubs and demonstrate their wellness? Why don't we put healthcare records online so we can reduce the massive paperwork associated with it? Why don't we let small businesses join together and negotiate with healthcare providers for lower cost insurance? Why don't we, there's a number of other steps that need to be taken that are fairly easy to take. Why don't we do what the president suggested, only take it one step further? Why not give every low-income family in America a $3,000 tax credit in order to purchase health insurance for their families? Expand the CHIP program, which, as we know, is it. Am I going to force every young American who's well? You know, a lot of the people who are uninsured are young people who figure, I'm not going to get sick. And how are we going to address that problem? I'd look to you, frankly, for a way to address that particular situation. But I'm far more concerned right now, as you are, about people who have a health insurance policy and they lose their job because there's great churning in the marketplace today. As you know, in my state of Arizona, for every 3 people that come to the state, 2 leave because of the mobility of the job market in America today, so that they can have health insurance that is both portable and affordable. And obviously the inflation aspect of it is very important. I'm not sure there's one overall solution to our health care dilemma. I think there, as I mentioned, Social Security is fairly easy. On the health care issue, we can inaugurate a series of steps, some of which I just outlined, where we can begin to get this issue under control. Thanks for your hard work on the issue. Good luck to you. And if you've got a better idea, I'd like to hear it. Okay? Yes. Yeah.
Hi. Internationally, we have black eye right now. What is your plan as president to earn back some of the allies that we've lost over the last few years? And additionally, what is your future strategy with China, because they're really outgrowing the communist philosophy right now?
Thank you. I will try. And by the way, if you raise your hand, I'll have someone come with the microphone so you can just go next. On China, I think that China is, it's obvious. China's the next world superpower. The question is China enter peacefully and as a contributing member to the world's economy and a peaceful competitor, and are they able to make sure that 1.6 billion people have better lives, etc., or will they enter in an aggressive fashion? Right now, there's mixed reviews. One of the fundamental problems is that China still has not made progress toward a democratic and free society. And if that doesn't start happening, then I think we're going to have difficulties. The Chinese have been cooperative in many ways. They've been a little bit helpful as far as North Korea is concerned. They just shot down a military satellite of their own to prove to us that they could shoot down our military satellites. The continued repression of free speech in China is not acceptable. Their continued belaboring this issue of Taiwan, who they have close ties with, yet they seem to have this blind spot about Taiwan, to me is almost irrational. I think that we need to pressure the Chinese more to make progress towards a democratic, open and free society. And I think we're letting them get away with things that we wouldn't let smaller nations get away with from a human rights standpoint that we should. Your first part of your question was? Oh, America's image is suffering in the world, my friends, and the first thing that I would do is announce the closing of Guantanamo Bay.